Almost half of women in senior roles in a city say they leave their jobs because of long hours. A new research published today says women at a critical point in their careers are having to make decisions between family life or work. And here to tell us more is Lisa Unwin, who's the founder of the report titled She's Back. Now, before we speak to Lisa, let's take a look at a clip which is part of her new campaign.
Look around you. It's not the lack of women that made me leave in the end. It's the lack of diversity of thought.
There seems to be an attitude that you have to choose between your family and your career. This is ridiculous. Working mothers are the best project managers. We're doing it 24 hours a day.
I'm a single mum. I had no choice. I had to make it work. I have. And it's been hard. It is hard. It's a constant struggle, to be honest.
Many men still have no clue how hard it is for working mothers and how much we juggle.
So watching that video there, let's talk a bit more about it, because these are the words of women who used to work and have left, and their words are being told through people, including men.
Yeah.
So what inspired you to put this campaign together?
There's a lot in the press all the time about the lack of women on boards. But I started my career in 1988, a long time ago, and for a long time now, women have been joining the professions in pretty much equal numbers to those of men. So my question was not so much why are there few women on boards, it's what happens to them, or where do all those women go? Because you've got lots of bright women joining the professions, but then 10, 15 years down the line, they've disappeared. So I wanted to know what happens to them.
Very, very interesting point there. And then looking at the topic, I mean, in the video, the topic of choosing between work and family is one that, as you just said, we've been hearing all too often. Why is it so difficult?
What was interesting coming out of the research was actually that women were leaving on average about 8 years into their careers in our survey, and they're not going to do nothing. They're choosing to leave firms that don't allow them enough flexibility, require them to work very long hours, measure them on hours worked rather than deliverables, and they leave those roles. And interestingly, they don't go and do nothing, they go to other organisations or to work for themselves where they can achieve that level of flexibility.
And I guess that then answers the question of, what exactly happens to them, because the research that you did, more than half, that's 52% of those who took part in the research left to work in a different sector entirely. And this is happening more and more often.
We did some research. This particular piece of research was done purely in the management consulting sector. But I think that's very representative of the other sectors that are predominantly based in London. So financial services, law, advertising, they all have a very similar issue, similar problem.
And what are the areas that you would say are more flexible for women?
I think any area can be flexible for women. I think the problem we have is that work, as it plays out today, was designed for the Industrial Revolution. It hasn't yet adapted to the digital revolution. I work a lot on my iPhone. I can do a lot of what I do remotely. It doesn't have to be done in an office, and it certainly doesn't have to be done 9 to 5.
And do you see a change then? Do you see people adopting this new mindset to adapt to the changing world so that women can have it? Or a life and
there are some organisations that are really harnessing this new technology, harnessing different ways of doing business and allowing women to re-engage in their careers in a different way. And they're starting to challenge some of the old traditional businesses, and hopefully that'll be an incentive for the old traditional businesses to challenge themselves.
Absolutely, hopefully. Thank you very much indeed, Lisa, for coming in to speak to us. Thank you.